A very good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us this afternoon for this wonderful session on emotional intelligence at work, building resilience and empathy for success. Emotional intelligence is a vital to navigate the complexity of modern workplace, build stronger relationship, and achieve success while maintaining well-being. This webinar will provide some practical strategies and techniques for improving your emotional intelligence. Dr. Anju Chawla is a subject matter expert in emotional intelligence. Dr. Anju Chawla is a firm believer that every single individual is bestowed with a powerful ability called emotional intelligence. Through her work, Dr. Chawla aspires to introduce EI and its extraordinary benefits to all who wants to change the pattern of their lives and achieve the highest goals. A very warm welcome to you, Dr. Anju, and the floor is yours now.
Thank you so much, Linda. Thank you so much for setting the context. And hey, people, I see almost 82 participants, and that gives me delight. That gives me delight. So yes, delight is an emotion. Very quickly, in your chat box, and Ekta, you'll have to be my eyes and ears before I turn on the PowerPoint presentation. I want these all curious souls. These all curious souls to just write down one thing that they're experiencing right now. I said, I am delighted. So let me just hear it from you as to what you are feeling. Are you feeling A, B, C? Just try and name it. Just try and name it. Put that on the chat box. Excited. Oh yeah, Venkatesh, excited. So now everyone will copy paste it. No. Please don't do that. Excited. All right. Curious. Yes, of course. And few more. Curious, excited. Great. So all the anxious. All right, Gautam. Gautam says anxious. I'll try to figure out why is this anxiety coming from, because anxiety is the most wasteful emotion, Gautam. Park it somewhere, huh? Devesh says, I'm nervous. No problem, Devesh. There must be a reason for you to be nervous. We'll figure that out. But you know what? We all have just opened up our brains, the neurons, in order to receive what is coming from me to you. But believe you me, both of us are going to co-create knowledge today. When you just touched base with one question, that is, how are you feeling right now? Or what is it that you're experiencing right now? And something like curious, something like excited came into picture. And I said, I'm feeling delighted. Was it anything else but emotions? I repeat my question. So I say, when you told me that you're feeling curious, somebody's feeling excited, somebody's feeling anxious, somebody's feeling nervous, I'm feeling delighted. Is it anything else but emotions? Give me a right. So you'll type in a right if you feel all these are emotions. You will type in left if you feel these are not emotions. So right will mean excited, curious, nervous, anxious, delighted are all emotions. Otherwise, they are not emotions. So right or left? Let me see. More right, more left. Devesh is a right. Smita is a right. Great. So what I understand is we are in the zone of our emotions, and yes, we have touched base with what we are feeling right now. Dear friends, on this note, let me thank you for trusting me with your time, because time is more important than money these days. And here, the topic for coming 90 minutes is emotional intelligence at work, with a tagline called Building Resilience and Empathy for Success. What can you expect in this upcoming session? In this upcoming session, you can expect these 5 things, which will be delivered to you in nuggets. Why in quick nuggets? Because who has that patience to keep listening to the nomenclature and the theory? All I want today is what is there in it for me to be worked upon. And that's precisely what I've tried to pack for you. The first thing that you can eye upon is trying to understand and managing your emotions effectively. So what I'll give you the decoding of some emotions. So you feel fear, what does it mean? You feel anger, what does it mean? And a few more, keeping the time in essence in particular. Second, what you can expect from this particular webinar is developing empathy and compassion. Will there be a magic wand? No. But yes, certainly there will be a perspective imparted to you, which may already be known to you. However, it is something like you're joining a yoga class, and unless the yoga teacher tells you that, hey, Gautam, tell me, how do you breathe? Do you know how to breathe? Gautam says, of course, I know how to breathe. I've been living in my body How am I living in my body if I can't breathe? So yes, yoga sir or yoga ma'am, I know how to breathe. And then the teacher says, all right, show me how do you breathe. So Gautam says, one, stop and exhale. Yoga teacher says, no, 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 not like this. So you exhale it for 10 seconds, hold it for 10 seconds. But when you inhale it for 10 seconds, you hold it for 10 seconds, but you exhale it for 20 seconds. And then Gautam says, oh, is that the right way to inhale and exhale? Yoga teacher says, yes, my dear, that is precisely the right way. So henceforth, empathy and compassion, I'm going to give you some perspective which you may be following, but probably things were not streamlined for you. Moving next, you and I are surviving to meet some goals, yes or a no. Tell me, you and I are surviving to meet some goals, a yes or a no, in the chat box, please. A yes or a no. Are you surviving to meet some goal? Oh, thank you, Vamsi. So Vamshi says, yes, we are surviving to meet some goals. So does Sunil and Arpita. Thank you so much. And precisely, when I am here to meet some goal, so are you. So I, as an individual, need to practice my EI, because if I am not having a firm understanding of my own emotions, where will I try and understand your emotions from? And without knowing my emotions and understanding your emotions, it is practically impossible to have good interpersonal relation. And that's why many of the relationships fail. Initially, they start at a very warm level. Hey, it is so good to see the senior who has just joined our organization. Or maybe, you say, oh, great Lord, you got the promotion. Yes, out of all the peer, you only were the deserving one. And I'm so happy that you got promotion. And you are you being once upon a time this person's peer, even now, despite being his subordinate, are expecting this promoted peer to be behaving with you the same manner, but this peer is little confused. How do I exercise my authority? How do I maintain that love with my subordinate? And then what happens? There is a little disbalance because your emotions in the moment are not understood by you. You are overwhelmed and excited that one of your best friend got promoted as the senior, but you are not understanding that his emotions have changed because his role and responsibility has changed. Similarly, even at the home front, but here we are going to restrict our discussion to the professional front. However, please be aware that be it Arpita, be it Anju, be it Gautam, be it anyone else, we all are holistic beings, which means I cannot be getting into the office half and half, or I cannot be coming back to my home half and half. Wherever I am moving as a holistic being. And fourth, to do all this, that is to make the first, second, and third possible, I need to enhance my self-awareness about who? About I, me, myself. How do I feel? What do I feel? Why do I feel? And then at the end, I'll try to encapsulate everything by giving you some tips and tricks to build that resilience in you. And what is resilience? I'm taking a pause here. Because I totally understand this is a fast-paced session and I want to know from you, are we going right? If you feel that, yes, you are all ears onto the session, give me a red. But if you feel that you're not here for the session, you are still not excited about it, say a black. Red or a black? Red or a black? Let's see. A red or a black? What comes in? Red. Sandhya says red. Lovely. Good to see Sandhya as red. And Ekta, you'll have to be my eyes and ears just in case there is a question. You will have to read that question out for me. And I see Ramesh has raised his hand. So Ekta, can you please help me with Ramesh's question if possible? Okay. Any question from Ramesh, Ekta, or can we proceed?
Ma'am, we are bringing Ramesh to the panel.
All right.
We can proceed.
All right. So initially, I'm assuming that it might be just a hidden trial of the raise hand. But anyways, Ramesh, in case you have a question, feel free. Rajshekhar, I totally read that red. Thank you so much. More reds are coming in. So any questions or can I proceed? Ramesh, any question? All right, then I take the liberty to proceed in that case. Shiva, is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Venkatesh. After knowing that what are you investing your time with me for, these are, as I said, 5 things which you can expect to be taken away from this discussion, let's see what is emotional intelligence and why is it in vogue. So, of course, I mean, while I was being trained by my master trainer at National Skill Development Council, he told me that, Anju, whenever you start a training program, always bring the dictionary definition of that word or that phrase in the awareness zone of your participants so that they precisely know what they can expect. Instead of bringing in any lingo, anything which is too typical, just bring in that what is the definition like. So emotional intelligence is an intelligence to manage your emotions. But will this only help you? Let's see. So it is a competence to use emotions intelligently, and remember, EI is a goal-directed behavior. Here I have used two things. I said it is a competence to use your emotions intelligently. And then I say emotional intelligence is a goal-directed behavior. So just in case there are two questions hovering in your mind, let me frame those questions for you and then try to answer. So the first question might be hovering in your mind is, what is a competence, for God's sake? So competence is a sum total of your attitude, skill, knowledge. If you have the knowledge of your emotions, and if you have the skills to understand your emotions and regulate your emotions, at the same time, attitude to really do something about it so that whatever you are conversating with and whoever you are conversating with, that conversation reaches to a certain goal. This becomes your competence to use emotional intelligence. And as I said, EI is a goal-directed behavior. Today, you and I are interacting not merely by chance, but with a purpose. And yes, that is why when I say ask questions, you are asking questions around the topic, and you are not asking me, Anju, is it raining there in Delhi or not? Because you know that is not the purpose of this interaction. If I'm making sense to you so far, give me a yes in the chat box so I know that yes, we are all together. If you are not understanding it, you may give a no in the chat box. Neeraj says yes. Oh, and a yes with a double S gives me more power, gives me more energy, Neeraj. Thank you so much. Sunil says no, I don't understand as to what exactly we are talking about. So Sunil, we are talking about a competence which is present in each one of us attending this webinar, or maybe as a part and parcel of this universe anywhere. And emotional intelligence, why is it called a competence? Because it is the sum total of your attitude, skill, and knowledge. And why do I have emotional intelligence, or why do I need emotional intelligence? It is purely because I interact with somebody or somebody interacts with me for some purpose. We simply do not bang into each other and start to interact without a purpose. Even if we have banged mistakenly, we'll say sorry to each other. Why do we say sorry then? Why don't we say hello, how are you? Just because we banged into each other as strangers. And why don't we end up saying, hey, how are you? Why do we end up saying sorry? Because that is where I understand my emotions of being a little apologetic to have bumped into the person. And I also understand that the other person may have been hurt by my action. So one thing that I have just introduced, because Sunil said a no, that EI is my individual weapon. Emotional intelligence is first of all my individual weapon. I need to chisel that weapon by understanding my emotions, and then I'll understand the other person's emotion. And why is it in fashion? It is in fashion because when you practice EI, when you know what is the emotion that is going on within you, when you know what does this emotion exactly mean for you, and because of this emotion, what all action you can perform. In that case, what you are doing is you are trying to rescue yourself from various situations. A few of indicative situations here are when you ask your friend to repay loan. So many questions going on in your head. So, Sunil says, hey, I paid Vartika these I've lended this Vartika 5,000 rupees 3 months back, and she promised me to give it in 1.5 months. Already it is 1.5 months past. What do I do? Now your emotional intelligence will come into picture. How? I'll give you an example. So Sunil says, I am really feeling agitated that why has Vartika not returned my 5,000 rupees? What does she feel? That I have a money plant back at home and I don't need money? Oh, I am really agitated. I must talk to Vartika. But then Sunil says, stop. If I talk to Vartika in the tone, with this emotion that is of agitation that I'm feeling right now, what am I expecting? Am I expecting her to return the money? Oh yes, I think she will, because she is a little, fearful soul. Just that she may be a little carefree. Never mind. Let me go to her and talk to her. And in the same tone, Sunil happens to talk to her, and she gives it back to Sunil that, hey, Sunil, I told you I'll repay you the money. How dare you reach out to my place and ask me for money? That can be completely a spoiler. So EI is going to talk. EI is going to rather tell you that even if it is agitation with you, how do you utilize that agitation? How do you utilize that anger with Vartika so that she repays your money, or at least she promises you to repay the money, and the doors aren't closed. So in the same light, just like us asking a friend to repay loan, there can be giving boss the feedback on the meager appraisal that you have just got, or maybe talking to a coworker about a personal hygiene problem because both of you are sharing the same cabin, or maybe your cubicles are very nearby, and then this bad order troubles you a lot. Then there can be another few reasons, like explaining the cause of low raise to your subordinate, that why have you given him such a low raise, or maybe dealing with a rebellious team, or maybe critiquing a colleague's work, and the list is endless. I'm taking a pause here. On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest, let me know with your number that how much are we in sync with emotional intelligence right now? 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. How much are we in sync with this topic around which we are going to spend next 45 or maybe next 70, 75 minutes? So I see a 4, a 5, and I think that's a good start. Even if it is a 1 and a 2, that's just all right, no problem. You are here. From my side, I'm going to try and pull up my socks as much as possible. Thank you, Asya Banu. And they were saying I read a 4. Moving ahead. How do I know now? Now, one question that must come in your head right now is, be it Devika, be it Arpita, be it anyone, one question that must come in your head is, hey Anju, how do I know if I have emotional intelligence in me? You have been telling me that emotional intelligence is present in all of us in varying quantity, but then how will I know that if I have that in me? All right, you'll get to know if you have EI in you for one simple reason, that yes, we all have that EI present in us, but in varying degree. Of what? Of the various EI subcompetence. So what I've just introduced to you is, if emotional intelligence is a competence, if EI is an umbrella, there are various subcompetence under EI. Just like human resource management is an umbrella, and admin, housekeeping, exit interview, performance appraisal, L&D, compliance, grievances, so many of the departments are under this umbrella. Similarly, emotional intelligence is an umbrella, and there are multiple sub-competence under this umbrella. Something like empathy, something like resilience, something like compassion, something like motivation, so on and so forth. But we'll touch base with it in a little while. However, now let me bring your kind attention to one scenario from office that might have either struck you or can strike you. So here we go. This scenario is about Kimaya, who is your manager. Kimaya is a tough taskmaster, and in his zeal to get immediate results, he comes across as controlling and inconsiderate at times. He doesn't waste time on formalities and takes quick decisions. He has received Employee of the Year award 3 times in the last 5 years for overachieving his targets. If Kimaya has ever met you, if you have ever encountered somebody like Kimaya, give me a yes in the chat box. If you have ever encountered somebody like Kimaya, give me a yes in the chat box. And Gautam says, yes, I have. I've practically had this experience. Neeraj also says, and Nitesh also says, and I'm sure most of us, if not a 5 on 5 Kimaya, at least a 3 or 4 on. Preeti is lucky to say no. Preeti says no, I haven't met this Kimaya. Never mind, Preeti. You will get to meet somebody else in a short while. So for now, it's Kimaya, who is a hard taskmaster. Now, those of you who have met Kimaya, or those of you who haven't met Kimaya but have understood the character and personality of Kimaya, can I please request you to tell me what is it that you are expecting from a person like Kimaya? Do you expect sympathy and care from Kimaya? So if you expect sympathy and care, write down sympathy and care. But if you don't, write down no sympathy, no care. So let me see. Do you expect sympathy and care from Kimaya? Sympathy, care, if yes. No sympathy, no care, if you don't expect it. So Sunil is very clear. He says no. Shabnur also says no. How am I going to expect sympathy and care from this person? So you see, you have just begun to now tap into your understanding of the other person. And it was possible only because I gave you the context of Kimaya. But most of the time, when I'm meeting a stranger for the first time as a very important stakeholder, I may not be having any understanding of whether is this person a Kimaya or whether is this person a Bhat. But Bhat this time is your reportee. A reportee, and he is often the center of attention during team meetings. This is because he does not shy from openly expressing his emotions and has built good rapport with his teammates. You feel that he overcommits at times and hence cannot be relied upon during tough situations. So Kimaya was your manager, but for Bhat, you are the manager and Bhat is your reportee. And I'm giving you a brief sketch of Bhat, who is often the center of attention. He expresses himself very, very freely, can build good rapport. But the problem you feel with Bhat is, this guy Bhat is, that he cannot be relied upon in the tough situations because he may overcommit. Just when you do not have those resources, or maybe you do not have those numbers to promise to your people, this agent or this reportee of yours may just end up overcommitting to a corporate only to get the bulk corporate account for your product. So how many of you know Bhat? How many of you have met Bhat ever? Yes or no? Venkatesh. Oh, Venkatesh has met everyone. Huh? Kimaya also. Madhuri also has met everyone. That's nice. Okay. Khushwant Oja says, oh, yes, I do. So Khushwant appears that you have just, you're still meeting somebody of this kind, huh? Vamshi and Sunil are very clear that no. So good that you are able to understand, okay, this is the kind of emotional bundle I have met, and this is the kind of emotional bundle who I haven't met. Moving ahead. Now, this is the third person, Kokila. Kokila again is one of your reportee, and she has recently joined your team. You find her to be hardworking and patient. Her teammates also think she's a nice, cooperative, and easygoing person. However, you are yet to get detailed feedback from them about Kokila. Tell me if this person named Kokila is actually your reportee, and this is only the scope of information that you have about Kokila. To understand her better, what will be the first question you would like to ask the teammates to get feedback on Kokila? I repeat myself. If you have only this background of Kokila, who is your reportee, what will be the first or the most important question you feel you will ask from your teammates to get more information on Kokila? What will be that first question, let's say? So you are in the process of gathering feedback about Kokila and her work. Okay, is everything okay? Venkatesh, is everything okay will only end in a yes or a no. Probably you will not get the answer. So try and be little subjective. Try and ask a question. Okay, how is it going on? Good or bad? Again, try not to ask a question which is a closed-ended question. Try to ask, oh, very nice. Shudha has just hit the bullseye. I would say, how is Kokila settling down? How is she doing? How do you find her as a resource? How she is doing? Yes, of course. This is generally going to be the bullseye question to ask about Kokila from your teammates in order to get feedback on her. What are we doing in the process? Just step back. Be it Neeraj, be it Kokila, be it Neeraj, be it Gautam, be it Avantika, be it whoever, just step back for a minute. No, when you and I are trying to gather the context of this person, what are we exactly doing? Are we trying to understand the emotional makeup of this person along with the personality traits? Are we also trying to understand the skill set of this person? Or more than anything, we are trying to understand the behavior part of this person with whatever skills he or she already has. So is it the skill set we are trying to understand when I'm giving you the three background, or is it more of the behavior we are trying to understand about these persons so that we know who is going to be a good cultural fit in our organization? So once again, is it a behavior feedback that we are taking up, or is it the skill set feedback we are taking up right now? Thank you, Gautam. Gautam says behavior. Anyone else? Behavior. All right. So Shabanur also says it is behavior and behavior. Precisely. And most of the time, that is practically after the interview is done and after the selection procedure has happened, we are practically dealing with each other's behavior. Behavior to allot resources, to not share resources, to share the information, to get that initiative done, to not get initiative done, and everything is happening between two bundles of emotions. So when Bhatt is interacting with you as the manager and Bhatt as the reportee, both of you are bundle of emotions interacting with each other. Similarly, when Kimaya is interacting with you, Kimaya also is a bundle of emotions, and you also are a bundle of emotions. Tell me, do you think that it is important for you or anyone on this earth to understand what kind of a bundle of emotions I am and what kind of a bundle of emotions I am interacting with? Give me a purple this time if you are a yes, and give me a green this time if you are a no. A purple if you think that you must know what kind of a bundle of emotion you are, and you must know what kind of a bundle of emotion you are interacting with. Give me a purple then, and if it is a no, then give me a green. All right, thank you. And the only purpose the only reason because of which I'm giving you these different cues is so that when Ekta looks into the chat box, at least she knows that is it a question popping up, or is it this yes or no to a different question? Otherwise, looking at the chat box with all the yes and no's, we'll go bonkers as to what is this all about happening. So all right, thank you, Karthik. I read you last. And then my last question to you: what will you bear in mind as their respective stakeholder before you say anything to each of these? So let's say it is Mohan who has to interact with Kimaya, also has to interact with Bhatt, also has to interact with Kokila for different reasons. And for Kimaya, Bharat is, let's say, the reportee, whereas for Bhatt and Kokila, Bharat is the manager. What do you think will come in your mind if you are that stakeholder dealing with all the three? Will their degrees come into your mind? Will their car that they drive come into your mind? Or what is it that's going to come into your mind? No, just give me try and give me one word. So when you have to interact with these people, what exactly is it that will come into your mind? What should be you careful about? What should you be? Okay, personality. Yes, thank you so much, Gautam. I purposely did not give you the cues of what should come. Okay, what kind of a behavior? Venkatesh says, what kind of a behavior is this person showing, going to show to me? Coordination, absolutely. What else? Like Sandhya said, coordination. What else? Do I have some more words? Attitude, absolutely. So with a communication and approach, yes. So with all your inputs coming to me, I'm reminded of one case that we were told way back in our post-graduation time, and it was about famous cricketer Vinod Kamble during those days. So Harsha Bhogle at a lecture in IIM Ahmedabad during 90s perhaps said that Vinod Kamble also could have been greatest of the cricketer just if he knew how to manage his behavior with how to manage his behavior when he was at the peak of the success. Do you think this is emotional intelligence? That is to understand how should you behave in the best or in the worst of the time? A yes or a no? So it was all right. Naina says yes. Yay. Preeti says, yeah, of course. All right. You know what? While you're writing your yes, no, purple and something, I'm also trying to read if the yes is coming, whether this yes is coming with excitement or double S in a yes is an excitement for me. Exclamation is an excitement for me. So thank you so much for bringing all those expressions, even with even with your chatting, even with your words. So dear friends, here, if I have to introduce you to the definition of emotional intelligence, I'm not a definition person though, but I'm sure many of you might be craving as to what exactly is the definition of emotional intelligence. So please pay attention. I don't have a slide on it. Please pay attention. Emotional intelligence is my ability to understand my emotions and control them, also to understand the other person's emotions and regulate them. Please pay attention. I did not use the word control for the other person. I cannot control anyone else's emotions. I can only control my emotions. If you feel that is nothing else but absolute truth, so say true. If you think that you can only control your emotions and not anyone else's emotions, please say true. Otherwise, say false. So okay, Shudha is like true. Okay, yes, Nitesh, true, of course. But what happens most of the time? You end up, or I end up, controlling other person's emotions. Very small example. The subordinate, let's say you are working with a team of CA, and the CA has recently joined you. This chartered accountant has very recently joined you, and you are giving him the brief about of your business. Okay, this is my client, and these many policies have been sold to this person. Okay, this is the portfolio of this particular person. Every year, this is the premium that he pays or they pay, etc., etc. And the chartered accountant seeming, yeah. Is there anything that I can help you with? I heard a voice. Is there anything that I can help you with? Anyone? No? So, Venkatesh, give me a yes or a no. Can I proceed, or is there a question?
You can continue, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, Venkatesh. So, yes, I was talking about that there is a CA right here who has just joined your team, and you're talking about the business of your organization, the products that you have been that you have been offering to this particular client, who is a very high ticket client for you. And the CA appears to be paying attention to you very, very keenly and everything. But this CA also seems a little distracted. Time and again, this CA is using his mobile phone. You are giving a very important download. Probably you will not meet this CA for coming 6 months because you have your own schedule. And you really want everyone present there to pay attention to what you are telling about this high ticket client. Tell me, on seeing this newly joined CA, seemingly attentive but mostly distracted, what will your first action or reaction be? What will your first response be? Be honest. So you are somebody who is giving a very important download, and you are somebody who is not going to meet this guy or the whole team for coming 6 months. And this is okay. Arun says irritation. Yes, Arun, thank you so much for being honest. So Manohar will have a question. Is he fully attentive? Neeraj will say, hey, pay attention, come on. And Shivani will check if it is the right time to even have the discussion with him. So you see, we all will have different responses to the same stimulus. Why are we going to have different responses to the same stimulus? Reason is very simple. Because I am in a different state of emotion, and Mithika is in a different state of emotion, and this particular CA is in a different state of emotion. Well, and Gaurav is saying I will ask him to go out only. Yeah, come on, I cannot tolerate people who are distracting, and they are distracting the whole session also. So we all, as an individual, while practicing our emotional intelligence, will still have different responses. The reason is Gaurav has a different state of emotion at that point of time. Anju has a different state of emotion. So has Pulkit, let's say somebody else. So merely because your state of emotion is different, your response becomes different. But as a team manager, or let's say as the project manager for this particular project, let's say, do you think you can afford to pull down somebody at this important and critical time when you know that you're not going to meet these guys for 6 months? What do you think? Being the project manager for this high ticket client, and you know that this briefing you will not be able to give maybe for the 6 months. So do you think it is a wise decision for any one of you to throw him out or get into arguments with him? What do you say? Is it a wise decision? Yes or a no? No. Cora says no. All right. Let's, okay. No. All right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So you see, just when I introduced to you the criticality of the situation and I said that, is it the right decision? That was the only time you checked yourself back and you said, no matter whatever is my state of emotion, but I cannot ask this person to go out because he needs to understand. I can't ask him to go out. I rather will have to regulate his emotions. I rather will have to understand what is going on in his head and what is going on with his mobile phone because I need his attention. If you are with me, say pencil, write down pencil. If you are with me and I'm saying that you have just realized the importance of this meeting, and no matter what state of emotion you are in, you need to manage everyone's emotions. So if you are with me, say a pencil. All right, all right, all right. And so many times such things happen with us that I am in a different state of mind, the other person is in a different state of mind. But if I know that what is the goal, why am I here? If I know I am here to make transfer of learning possible to these 243 people who have joined us, and from my end, it is my sincere sincere attempt to deliver as much as possible in this hard pressed time. I will put all my attention into it, no matter even if I got late from my first spot to reach my office back. No matter when I got back and I got to know that the power cable of my place has gone out of the power and the inverter also might conk off. So, where am I right now? I am right here in front of you delivering this lecture for a simple reason that I could control my emotions of anger, of anxiety. And I said, all right, 90 minutes, nothing doing. I'm right here. So I have my mobile phone handy with me. I've shared my PowerPoint presentation as a backup with Ekta, just in case if anything goes off, I can still be on. Is there anything that anyone has to say? Because I can hear sound. Somebody is trying to talk. Please go ahead in case if you have something to say. Or Venkatesh, I'll request you to put everyone on mute, please. Okay, thank you, Vamshi. I read this pencil. Venkatesh, please do the needful.
I will make
Who is this? Who is this? I can't hear you.
You're good to go, ma'am. You can continue.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Venkatesh. Thank you so much for this help. Right. So once again, many a times it happens that I may not be in the state of mind as the other person is, but if it is my duty to ensure that the goal is achieved, I need to be in control of my state of emotions, which means I must know my why. Why am I here? Why am I interacting with you? Why am I sitting in this meeting for you? Or why am I traveling from this place to Goa? Is it to impart training or is it to criticize somebody? So I'm there to impart training. I will go and impart training. Criticism, I'll do sometime later. Moving ahead. I just said that just a little while before ago, I said that if EI is an umbrella, there are small little sub-competence to it. And these are the sub-competence. And how will you know whether you have it in you or not? So I request you, take 2 minutes and on each of these four colored sub-competence, which is red, little yellow, orange, green, and blue. Give yourself on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. Give yourself the rating. How much do you think you are self-aware about yourself? If you feel, oh yes, I'm highly self-aware about myself, I know what emotion I'm facing, I know how am I going to deal with it, give yourself a 4 or a 5. But if you are any less, maybe you can give yourself a 2. Try to avoid a 3 because 3 is a politically correct thing. So Madhuri, do not give a 4 or a 5 just like that on each of the sub-competence for yourself in just one go, So maybe you can, in one go, you can say self-awareness, whatever it is, 1 on 5, let's say it is 4, emotional self-awareness, it is let's say a 3. Similarly, self-management, let's say it is a 4. So just in one line, try to give yourself these ratings, and you may not give it on the chat box. Give it on to yourself. Just click a picture of this. It will even be handy because even if the session is over, you may simply like to understand that, hey, where am I on my self-management? So if I know I'm angry, how do I manage it? Do I become adaptable? Oh, yes, I become highly adaptable because I know that these 90 minutes will not come back to me. So give yourself a 4 out of 5 on adaptability. But if you feel that the adaptability is a little low and you still get cranky because of the changes that are coming in or because of the anger emotion that you are facing, give yourself a low, which can be a 2 or a 3 or something. If my ask is clear, and if you have clicked the picture of this particular slide, let me know in the chat box and say, go ahead. So if you give me a go ahead, I'll move to next. And if you don't give me a go ahead, I would like to understand from you, what is it where you are stuck? So go ahead. Nitesh says, go ahead, please. I already have tolerated you, Anju, for half an hour. And this is only 60 more minutes that I can tolerate you with. Venkatesh also says, please go ahead, go ahead. All right. Thank you so much. Going ahead, moving ahead. Self-awareness. You see there is a star on self-awareness. Why? Because if you do not know about yourself, how can you claim to know about others? It is something like, I don't know about my own house, but I claim to know about the other person's family, that I know what all is going on in the other person's family. Come on, you need to first know that what is going on in your family. Similarly, first I need to understand what is my strength, which emotion is it that I can play very well with. When I asked you that, what are you feeling? Few of you said curious, few of you said excited. And that was exactly your strength in the moment. Those of you who are playing on your strength, that is being curious, being excited, you are gaining. And those of you who are still not who are still not catching up with their exact emotion in the moment, they'll fall a little short of playing on their strength. So once again, these are the various sub-competence of emotional intelligence that you could rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest. And when I say self-awareness, now I'm introducing you to a handful of emotions. These are not all the emotions. So if you try and find out how many emotions or how many labels of emotions are there, well, people are working in this area like anything. And because emotions is just as universal a language as mathematics and music, henceforth every day it is evolving. So initially we had only 6 primary emotions, which was like fear, happiness, anger, sadness, surprise, disgust. But today we have more than 13,000. No, today we have more than 25,000 names given to emotions. We started off with Peter Solvay, and we are moving to Paul Ekman, and we are moving to Mark Brackett, and we are moving to Robert Plutchik, and so on and so forth. Anyways, don't get baffled up by the names of these thinkers or the people who are working in the area of EI. Just come back to your own body, come back to your own mind, take your spot wherever you are sitting, sit straight, or even if you're lying down, that's okay. Just be mindful of your posture. First of all, wherever you are, whichever position you are in, just be mindful of your posture. Where are your feet? Where are your hands? How are you lying down or sitting? And then is your feet, are your feet close to each other, or they are arm length apart, or whatever it is coming to your mind, as much you can. Pay attention to your gesture posture, just pay attention to it. And then exactly when now you know that, okay, this is the kind of posture I am in, it is just a mindfulness exercise, nothing else. So just now when you know, okay, I am mindful of what I am and where I am, try to read these emotions which are right in front of you, starting from fear, happy, angry, sad, surprise, shock, disgust, optimism, love, hate. If you paid attention, with every emotion, the tonality of my voice also changed. And it was only to manifest that if I'm experiencing fear, I will have a drop in energy. If I'm experiencing happy, on the other side, the chirpiness in my voice will be very, very different. And if I'm angry, the pace of my voice will go so high that my words may not even make sense to you. And if I'm sad, I might take some time to explain to you that what is happening to me. And if I'm surprised, wow, That's going to be like out of words, but I will be all in awe of the situation. I will be happy and yet taken off by something which I did not expect. And if I'm in shock, the tonality has said it all. If I'm in shock, I don't even know what to express. In surprise also, I didn't know much of what to express, but that was on the positive side. And when it is shock, I again do not know what to express, but this time it is on the negative side. And if it is a disgust, if it is a disgust, that bad order coming from somewhere, I don't even want to open my mouth. I just want to run away from this place because I am disgusted. If it is an optimism, what a sigh of relief, because I feel optimistic about something to happen. So for example, till 4:40, my inverter has survived. I'm pretty much optimistic that my internet connection will survive. Otherwise, I'll shift to the hotspot. Love. The kind of responses you are giving me, the speed with which you are giving me your responses, automatically I have formed a bond of love with you, because who am I? I'm here. Who am I? I'm just a facilitator. Who are you? You are everyone. Why? Because you have trusted me with your time. And hence, and because you are giving me that reciprocation, so unknowingly and in no time, a bond of love has developed between me and you all. And if at all it was a hate, things would have been totally different. I'm taking a pause here. If you enjoyed the change in tonality of my voice with each of the emotion, and more than enjoyment, if you felt that yes, every emotion just with a change in tonality could convey you meaning, give me a rubber. Say a rubber if you felt that okay, the change in tonality gave you the meaning. And if you feel it did not give you rubber, then you can say no rubber. So I'll understand that no rubber. All right. So I read rubber from Deva, Sankar, and so many and so forth.
Ma'am, sorry.
Yes. No problem, Venkatesh. Tell me.
Gupta is telling that he has a question.
Yes, please. What is that question?
I'll try him to get in a panel so that he can ask the question directly.
Please do that.
Hari Gupta, if you can hear me, you can unmute yourself and you can ask your question. Hari Gupta, you there?
Okay. Never mind. Hari is here. How emotion is most, if all right. Thank you. So Hari Gupta has asked a question which is a little proactive, but now since the question is raised, I will answer. Hari and everyone, emotion is something that is bound to come in me. Why? Because emotion is nothing else but chemical in my body. It secretes from the central of my brain. My brain has three parts. From the central part, that is the limbic part, this emotion is secreted. The game of regulation lies in what meaning do I associate to this emotion? And what thoughts do I associate with this emotion? So for example, when you are walking barefoot and you find that there are pebbles under your feet and this is your home. So, how do you feel? You say that, come on, pebbles at home. Oh, one cannot even walk barefoot in the house. Even the house isn't clean. So you felt a little disgusted because one of your value of being clean was violated. However, if you get the same let's say pebbles or let's say some kind of a prasada under your feet while you are making your parikrama in the temple, you know what you will do? You will very quickly pick up your feet and pick up that prasada. So and you'll try and find some place where you can respectfully put that prasada and you say, oh my God, my goodness, I stepped onto prasada. I'm really sorry. And then you will wonder that who mistakenly have even dropped the prasada, but at least you will not curse the cleanliness of the temple. Yes or a no? Hari, yes or a no? Hari, very quickly. You'll have to be a little quick, Hari, because we are in... okay, so Kaliranjan says yes, and I'm taking this answer on behalf of Hari now. This precisely what you did was, Hari, what you did was you just changed the same emotion. You regulated the same emotion merely by changing the thought associated to it, and the thought associated to the emotion pretty much will depend upon the environment where you are in or the commitment you have made to yourself. Same house, let's say the lady of the house is not well and all your domestic help have gone on chutti and you yourself are too busy with the work, and now you find pebble in the same place. This time you are not going to curse the cleanliness of the house. You will rather say, oh, I also must take care of the cleanliness of the house since the lady of the house and then all the domestic help, they are not available. So you see, just by changing the thought associated with this emotion, you have regulated the emotion. So thank you, Hari, for that beautiful question. And I thoroughly enjoyed answering that question. So yes, we were enjoying the various emotions, and I thought it was my duty to bring to you that what does each of the listed emotions means. Hari, thank you so much. So fear, when you feel afraid whenever there is something that you were not expecting or you were expecting only in your nightmares and it has happened. So something which you did not expect, you don't want, and it happens. That's fear. Anger starts with irritation. And why do you feel angry? Only when one of your value is violated. Sadness, when do you feel sad? When what you wanted you could not achieve or it did not meet you. Joy is that inner inner experience which comes to you when you see something unusual and you are connecting it with some of your old memories. So that flowing water maybe brings down the memory of your parents taking you down the lane of that river, the river bank which you used to cross with your nana nani, let's say, and suddenly this a waterfall or maybe the sound of this water has given you the same joy. Disgust, when one of your personal value, something like hygiene or something, has been violated. Surprise, when you get to see or get to meet something which was not expected, you weren't prepared for it, but it is positive for you. And trust is an emotion which you feel only for people or the stimulus who have been there with you in your thick and thin. And anticipation is something which you look forward to. And you know what? You'll be surprised that there are some simple emotions and then there are some complex emotions. So love is a complex emotion, and that is why love brings so much of confusion, because love is a mix of trust and optimism. If you trust somebody with optimism, you will love the person. If either of the two simple emotions, whether trust or optimism, takes a back seat, your love will take a back seat. Yes, confusion will prevail, and all these are nothing but emotions. So now coming to $1 million question, which I would have come in order to regulate the emotions, but since Hari already asked it, so maybe I can little fast pace this. Mark Brackett from Yale University Center of Intelligence, he coined a term called ruler, R-U-L-E-R, which is pretty much there in his book, Permission to Feel. Because in Western countries, we don't simply ask, hey, how are you? People end up asking, hey, so how is the day treating you? How are you feeling? And then there's a lot of conversation that opens up. In order to make the rule of ruler more acceptable in Indian context, I just tweaked it a little and I said, let it be RAUPER. What is RAUPER? Now, all of you, please feel for yourself. Go back in your mind to any of that unpleasant memory or any of the unpleasant incident that has recently happened with you. Now where you feel that you could have maybe reacted or responded a little better, just go back to that particular incident, which is not a happy incident. Just go back to that incident in your mind. And I'll just pause for 10 seconds and then run you through this $1 million rule, which you can practice from now on. And I'm expecting that by now, each one of you has reached back to the memory, which isn't very pleasant and has happened in the recent past with you. All of you are there, staying there. You are staying there while I'm introducing you the rule called RAUPER. Wherever you are, recognize that you are feeling something unpleasant. That's step one. Recognize that you are feeling something unpleasant. And once you have recognized that you are feeling something unpleasant, you please acknowledge and accept that there is something unpleasant happening to you. Once you have given the permission to yourself to acknowledge that, okay, even I can feel something unpleasant, that is just fine. Doesn't matter if I'm the VP or I'm the senior manager or I'm the director, I still am a human being and I have all the right to feel unpleasant, no matter if this unpleasant incident has happened after a very long time of my successful in my successful life. Still I'm feeling unpleasant, and that's fine. So give yourself permission to acknowledge and accept that. Once you have done, understand where is this emotion of any kind who's this? Ekta, is there a question? Ekta, is there a question? All right. I'm so sorry,
No,
people. Okay. Please mute yourself. I'm so sorry, people. Go back to the same energy level where you have just given yourself permission to acknowledge and accept the feeling of unpleasantness, whatever you are feeling, and now try and understand that why are you feeling what you're feeling. With respect to that context, just understand why are you feeling what you're feeling. And once you have understood the trigger because of which you are feeling what you're feeling, take a pause. Take a pause, deep breath, take a pause and evaluate all possible responses. I repeat, all possible responses that now you can make. You can get angry with the other person to pass that remark to you. You may just go out and slap that person because he's your subordinate. You may simply demote that person because he's your subordinate. Or you may try and understand from him that when he said, what was the reason that he said what he said. Okay. And just there when you are evaluating, because taking a pause is a very, very important step. And just there when you are evaluating all possible responses that you can give to the situation, pick up the best possible, which will give you the control of situation. Pick up that particular response, which will help you reach the goal, because at the end of the day, you in the organization or anyone else in the organization is surviving to meet different goals. Team goals also are equally important as our organizational goals. And once you have picked up what is it that you want to do, you are ready to respond. However, if you did not give yourself this time, you wouldn't have responded, but you would have reacted. Reaction is acting and then thinking, whereas responding is thinking and then acting. If you believe response is better, write response. If you feel reaction is better, write reaction. Response is think and then act, whereas react is act and then think. If you feel response is a better choice, write response. If you feel reaction is a better choice, write reaction. You're free to choose anything that gives you peace of your mind. And I read a lot of response and response and response. I'm taking a pause here. Any questions regarding to RAUPER before I proceed? And this will also build on your resilience, of course. Why? Because this is giving you a chance to move forward from the situation, because resilience does not only mean bounce back, it also means move forward. If a ball is dropped onto the floor and it bounces back, but it doesn't move forward, then the batsman will never be able to hit it. So the ball also has to move forward, and that is where the energy of the bowler also goes. To push the ball forward, or the footballer, he pushes the ball forward, or the basketball. This basketball person is not simply dribbling the ball. With the dribbling, this basketball person is also moving in the direction to hit the basket, to score a basket. If this makes sense to you, and if you have any question, I'm taking a pause of 10 seconds. Ekta, you can be my eyes and ears, or maybe Venkatesh can be my eyes and ears if there is any question in the chat box. Most of the times, response, what is this? Abhijit, example of what? Please say so. The response and reaction. All right, Akshita. Abhijit, response and reaction, very, very simple, very, very simple. And it goes like, you are driving your car, and the car has just been bumped by a motorcyclist. So reaction will be you just stop your car, get out of the car and hurl some abuses at him, or maybe give him a good punch on his face, or take out that key of his bike and start saying something. That's reaction. And always remember that he can punch you back. Always remember that there can be more of a ruckus. There can be a police complaint for you also. And response will be, okay, the motorcyclist has hit you. You may simply look at him and tell that, please drive safe. And also tell yourself, give your emotion of anger a meaning, or change your thoughts that, all right, my four-wheeler is pretty much covered in the insurance. I'll get the insurance. That's all right. Why am I worrying even? Okay, that's okay. So Harsh says, response and reaction will be situational. Well. If you feel response and reaction will be situational, Harsh, it is time for you to develop the habit, to develop that muscle of only responding, not reacting. Just go back your home, and in case you have kids, ask your spouse, ask your kids, how do they feel when you react to their situation? So you have come back tired to the place, and the kids really want to hang around with you. They are waiting for you, and they want you to take them out for an ice cream. But what you do is you tell them, hey, don't you understand that I'm totally tired? I want to watch TV. I don't want to talk to you. I need my me time. Instead of this, so this was reaction. Instead of this, you could have easily told, all right, even I'm excited to go out with you. Just give me 20 minutes or 25 minutes to freshen up. Let me just wash my face, do this. And then we all will go out to have maybe a cup of coffee or some ice cream or something. And then I also read a question that, is it always possible to be respond and not react? Well, I'll take you to Elon Musk example, wherein Tesla said that we are launching a truck of whose the window panes will not get rubbled off. Do whatever you want to. And then in front of hundreds of cameras, here was Elon Musk throwing something on the Elon Musk or somebody throwing an object onto the window pane of this truck, and then the window pane shattered a little. Elon Musk did not winch. He did not even flicker his eyebrow. He said, all right, perfection, excellence can always be bettered off. So yes, answer the black and white answer to the question, can I always be responsive and not reactive? Yes. If you have the intention to be responsive and not reactive, well, out of 10 times, you can be responsive 8 times. That is pretty much possible. And the best of the CEOs are great examples of being responsive and not reactive. Any other pressing question that we have in the chat box, Ekta or Venkatesh, or can I proceed?
There is a question, ma'am. Is it really possible and to only respond?
Oh yes, that's what I said. That's what I said. If you have the intention, okay, I'll tell you. If you have the responsibility of all your family members and you are the eldest one, let's say, vis-a-vis the situation is that you are the youngest one in the family and there is no responsibility. Where do you think you will have more patience to your people, when you are the eldest one with all the responsibility, or the youngest one with no responsibility? Where do you think you will have more intention to be responsive? Eldest or youngest? Put that in the chat box, please. Eldest, because you have that responsibility, right? Because the brain is triggered in a manner. The brain is wired in a manner that I need to have patience with all possible situations, because I am the one who has to make decisions and I have to be the example. So if this can be your case of being responsive, why do you think your subordinates are any exception? Or why do you think your kids are any exception? Or why do you think any stakeholder is any exception? I understand that amygdala hijack may happen. Well, we are not discussing amygdala hijack here. I understand that such an extreme situation may happen, but 1 out of 10 is still better than 8 out of 10. So 1 out of 10 reaction situation is still better than 8 out of 10 reaction situation. React will do the job. Well. Kiran, you know what? If you react, you already have let your guards off. That means you already are in that rage that a little trigger from the other party and manhandling or brick batting or maybe some kind of hurling will take place. So even if you want, okay, I also read one question which I would like to connect here. I read a question that, is anger a negative emotion? No emotion is a negative emotion or no emotion is a positive emotion. Result of the emotion will decide whether did you use the emotion positively or negatively. So for example, if you have caught your subordinate drugging in the organization where it is simply a no, it is a policy, then your anger is much needed. But this anger should not come out as a reaction. This anger also needs to be a well thought of response that out of my authority, if I will exercise my authority to be angry with my subordinate for drugging himself at the workplace, then only he'll feel a little sorry, because I know that this person is very high-headed and this person will not this person will not accept my meek voice. So this anger also has to be a very well thought of response. I hope I have been able to connect the two and I've been able to give you answer. That can something happen with reaction also? Well, no. Reaction, chances are you are going to spoil the situation. Even anger, anger needs to be a well thought of response. If that makes some sense to the people who raised the question, give me water in the chat box so that I know that, okay, people understood. Otherwise, give me fire in the chat box. Kiran says water. All right. Thank you, Pratibha. Beautiful name, Pratibha. Okay, moving ahead. Thank you, Harsh. Moving ahead. And yes. Is there a question?
An interesting question.
Okay.
Do we suppress our emotions when we respond? Is that always healthy?
No. Suppression of emotion is doing sin to yourself, because then you are not compassionate about yourself. I did not even for once say suppress your emotion. Just use your emotion intelligently. So for example, if my subordinate, despite my giving training to the subordinate, she still has forgotten to put my documents and send the docket to my office, and I already have flown to my training place. Now this, despite my giving her training and despite my telling her every time everything that this is how the file needs to be made, still she has committed the mistake. I am angry. Yes, I am angry. But now you tell me, if I express my anger onto her, because I'm practicing my EI, I know my why. My why of calling this subordinate up is, if it is only to shout at her, then I should be rest assured that I will not get the documents even for coming half an hour, because she's a sulking person. The moment I shout at her for 15-20 minutes, she will sulk. She will not be able to scan also, so that I can at least take a printout. I know my why. Why am I talking to her? I am talking to her because I need those scanned documents in another 15 minutes. Otherwise, my training will go waste, because the simulation is as it is running. And I've already paid for that simulation. For that 1 hour simulation, I've paid 50,000. And if that docket doesn't reaches me, then I'll not be able to run the simulation. So I know my why very clearly. At this moment, when I know my why very clearly, all I said is, hey, Kritika, appears that you have forgotten to send the docket. Never mind. Please file name this. Scan quickly from this scanner and mail it to me on this email ID next 5 minutes and give me an update. Ho gaya, this much is done. Now, when I'm done with my training, I will make it a point to convey it to her, not in a rude or in a tone that she does not receive it, but in a tone that, understand, Kritika, if you keep working like this, I think I will have to change my subordinate. I may not be able to entrust upon you, and I may have to train somebody else. So have I used my emotion intelligently? Have I suppressed it? Forget about emotion intelligently. Did I suppress my emotion? Or did I use my emotion intelligently? Suppress or intelligently? Tell me that. Suppress or intelligently? Tell me that. We have 20 minutes in hand, right, Venkatesh? Okay.
Yes,
ma'am. All right. Thank you. So Smita says intelligently. Suppress would have been when I was cribbing at this training junction, and losing on my simulation money also, and criticizing her, everything, but not calling her up either to get the work done or at least to say what I had to say. That would have been a suppression. No, EI does not advocate suppression. If this makes sense, this is just one example of RAUPER, and I think we have talked a lot of RAUPER here now because of the questions that were being asked. So I am moving ahead. the two much needed competence, empathy and compassion. Now you will be in a better condition to understand the difference between two and then probably practice it as well. Empathy is, I understand what you feel. Compassion is, I understand what you feel and I have a desire to help you. Empathy can only be resulted in anyone when you have either lived that life or you totally understand the life of someone. Most of the time it is said that senior should be from within the organization and not an outsider. So reason is very simple, that this senior who is an internal person precisely understands the pain of the juniors, because he also or she also has undergone the same scenario, the same cues, the same kind of inductions and the same kind of scripts, the same kind of objections this person also has undergone, and that is why he or she can empathize with you better whenever you are in trouble. Vice versa, or on the contrary, somebody from the outside industry and outside company perhaps is not the right person to understand your pain. However, but does not mean that this person can never understand your pain, because innately this person may have empathy. Like teachers have empathy for kids, they have not been students for past 25 years, still they have the empathy for kids, because they tend to develop that empathy for kids in the first few years of their profession. And that's why you must have noticed that even today when you meet your teacher, somebody who you really respected that point of time, you still tend to touch their feet, or maybe you feel like a child in front of that teacher, if at all you are lucky to have met your school or a college teacher. I was lucky to meet my professor just 4 days back, 22 years old professor. So yes, I touched his feet. I did not care where I was. I was amongst the fraternity members, but that's all right. He was my guru and he taught me so much. So, that's empathy. Talking about compassion, compassion is empathy plus desire to help. Whenever you know that what the other person is feeling and you also express your desire to help, that's compassion. Most of us stop at empathy, and that is why we do not grow into compassionate leaders. But if I have to grow into compassionate leader, then I must also find out some solutions that I can offer. It may be viable for the other person to accept it or not, but at least whatever is in my purview, I should be able to offer. So if one of my project manager is facing the ailing mother at place, and this project manager has to move to Ranchi for some work, and he is simply irreplaceable for that moment, then I should take the responsibility of the ailing mother to be taken for the dialysis, because he is needed elsewhere and he cannot be at both the places. That's compassion. Going to resilience. Resilience is bouncing back to move forward, as I just talked about. And a resilient person is someone who has strong coping skills and is able to marshal their available resources. It is important. Okay, how many of you, when you are stuck in a situation, you only keep thinking, hey, why am I stuck in the situation? What in this world did I do to get stuck in the situation? If you are amongst this kind of a person who is working in the victim frame, you are not a resilient person. However, if you are a person who says, all right, now what has happened has happened. Okay, these are my resources. Let me see what best I can do with whatever possible I have. I may not be able to buy jazz, but I may be able to buy, let's say, an Alto. That's fine. At least I will have a four-wheeler instead of going by a scooter. So, that's resilience. You just lost some money in the share market, and now you are like, how am I going to pay for that down payment of this beautiful plot that I thought to purchase? And you say, never mind, in that case, I will still be on rent, because there is no point putting my hard-earned money onto a small plot, which I will not even enjoy tomorrow. So idea is, are you making your, okay, resilience is not equal to compromise. Resilience is the intention to gather all your resources after the setback. Whatever resources you have, you gather them all, and then you see, okay, what is it that you want to achieve? Do you want to achieve peace of mind, or do you want to be in conflict? Most of the time, being human, we'll say we want to achieve peace of mind, and in that light, you will say, okay, let me see what best I can do. Problem is, most of the people act from the victim frame that, oh, why did this happen to me? Why not to somebody else? And then this is not resilience, but yes, knowing your reality, knowing your resources, as Kiran rightly said, knowing your reality, knowing your resources, gathering them all, and then trying to move forward is exactly what resilience is all about. And to develop resilience, you need to practice self-compassion. That is, you must first bow to yourself. You must find your own uniqueness instead of telling every time to yourself, I'm not good for this, I'm not good for that, or hey, why can't I be as expressive as my general manager? Why am I not able to talk in the meetings as good as Latika talks? Just know as to how good you can talk and why are you not able to talk. Maybe you can take a professional help from outside, but do not get stuck there. Gather your resources. Okay, I know language, that is, I know English. All right, I have the content. Why am I not able to speak still? Probably because I don't do much of practice of the questions that may be asked, and that is why I'm not able to answer, or I'm not able to speak. And that's where you are practicing self-compassion. Remember, compassion is, I understand what you are feeling, and this is my desire to help you. This is what I can do for you. So when you don't find your strengths, pick up on your areas of improvement. Don't call them your weakness, and then see what you can do to improve upon them. Play with yourself now and respond. Time to play. Play with yourself and respond. What will you respond for Bhatt? He's often the center of attention during team meetings. This is because he doesn't shy from openly expressing his emotions and has built good rapport with his teammates who feel that he overcommits at time and hence cannot be relied upon during tough situations. Tell me, if you are emotionally intelligent, try and understand your emotions, control your emotions, and give Bhatt some peace of your mind in a manner that he doesn't end up overcommitting, and it doesn't become difficult for you to sustain that high ticket client. What is that one dialogue, or what is that one sweet spot dialogue that you can give to Bhatt so that he doesn't overcome it and your relationship also is not impacted adversely? Tell me, what can you talk to, or what can you say to Bhatt? Come on, time for you to practice. Yes, manage expectations. How will you do that? Absolutely, Sai Kumar, you are very right. Be more responsive. All right, Manoharan, what is it exactly that you will say to Bhatt? Give me that line. Give me that line. Thank you, Manish. Manish has given a very beautiful direct line that, hey, Bhatt, you are absolutely an asset to the organization, but looking at your past, oh yes. Bhatt also, Bhatt, I need you to help me out. Appears that we are caught in the ocean of overcommitment. Tell me, how can we come out of it? Instead of blaming him, just give subtle hints to him, and then tell Bhatt that, okay, Bhatt, time to undercommit and overachieve, as someone from you only said that. Similarly for Kokila, again, yes, Shudha says sometimes it is okay to say no as well. That's just fine. And similarly, you can play with Kokila for your responses. Let's hear, what are your responses for Kokila? What is it that you would like to say for Kokila before I come to a stop and open for any kind of further questions that you have? All right. For Kokila, what is it that you would like to say? I'm not able to check the chat anymore. Can Ekta or Venkatesh be my eyes and ears?
Yes.
Is there any response coming for Kokila, the sweet spot coming for Kokila? Anyone?
Give him a spot to re-evaluate and express if it can be achieved.
Okay, that's for Bhatt, I believe. Let's come to Kokila now. Kokila, you have to tell her that she's nice and cooperative, all right, but then you don't have much feedback on her. So what do you think? And you do not have much feedback on her. You have checked with the teammates, but you still are to get the feedback on her. What do you think you can talk to Kokila about in order to ensure that she falls as a good fit to your organization? What do you think you can tell Kokila? Give me a sweet spot. So she's hardworking, she's nice. To be compassionate, all right. Kiran says, be compassionate. Do not have no desire to help anyone. Okay. Yes, Arun, you already have gathered the feedback. I mean, you already have asked the questions with others. Now my question is, how are you going to talk to Kokila in order to ensure that she falls under this cultural fit of your organization? What is it as manager? What is it that you will tell to Kokila, your reportee? What is that sweet spot message that you would like to give to her so that she's a good fit to your organization? Say that, somebody. Ask her to share what she did recently and achieve the result. All right. Shivani, great. That's a good taskmaster thing. Be vigilant about what is going on around. Of course, that's a good tip. Manish? Anything else? Come on, you're thinking and I'm really loving it. Anything? All right. Be watchful. Okay. So Surya is making her very, very cautious that, hey, be watchful. You might fall prey to one or the other person. So yes. Thank you, Arun. Arun says, Kokila, you are a good team player. You can be great. Just that know when to say a no. Just that know when to say a no. And yes, be cooperative, but do understand, do set your boundaries so that you don't stress yourself out. Something of that kind will be a sweet spot. Kokila, things are going fine now. Something came up and I missed on to that message. That was a beautiful message though. So happy to, hey Kokila, things are going well till now. So if you need any help, oh yes, of course, this can be a great sweet spot. Why not? Why not? So time for us to have a check and claim, check and claim. The check is, it is just a general statement. We use it very frequently, very often. Hey, my boss drives me nuts. So my check question is, your boss drives you nuts? Or is it you who is driving yourself nuts? Now when you know that emotions are born within you, now when you know that you are the one who gives thoughts to the emotions, and now when you know that you can control your thoughts to that emotion that is popping up in you, who drives you nuts? You drive yourself nuts, or still your boss drives you nuts? You or your boss? Think about it. Oh, I think I'm not going to get answer to this question because it's more like a ethical question. How can I say my boss even if I want to say my boss? So Surya is playing safe. She says it's me. Manish also says it's me. Absolutely. It is. I mean, I have those emotions in me, and I only can either make or break things for myself. So claim one is, emotions don't settle upon you like a fog unless you associate a meaning to that emotion that unsettles you. And you and only you can create that meaning to your emotion. No one else has any influence on it. Also, once you have created your upset emotions, you have only two options: act on them or be acted on by them. That is where I say, let the emotion run your life or let the emotions ruin your life. And I'm really happy to share this latest cutting from Economic Times, wherein it is said that come what artificial intelligence do to the technology and to everything, but the right brain skills such as critical thinking, creativity, EI, empathy, they are born to live, and you all need to develop that muscle. Otherwise, even artificial intelligence will have the glitches, because AI also needs EI. Man or machine is not the right operator. Man and machine is the right operator to work upon. And now giving you the closure of everything, the 5 promises that I made to you and how have I closed them. Understand and manage your emotions effectively. So now you know the meaning of your few of the emotions. You can read more literature to decode other emotions. Develop empathy and compassion. So now you understand that if you have a feel and a desire to help, that's empathy and compassion. You can decide for yourself, do you want to do it for you and others or not? Improve communication for better interpersonal relation. So be in the moment to understand self and others to make it goal-directed conversation. Remember, I reached my training place in Goa and Kritika did not send me that docket. I had spent 50,000 on the simulation. See, how was I trying to recover it and how was I trying to ensure that the simulation takes place? Enhance self-awareness. I just gave you those different competence and how do you cultivate resilience? By developing self-compassion in yourself, you develop resilience. On this note, I welcome any queries. They are more than applauded and they are more than welcome. Please feel free to share and ask any query. And you know what? I'm so happy. I was just delighted in the beginning of this webinar, but now I'm really happy because I could survive without power and on mere 30% of inverter for good 1.5 hour, not by chance, but by ensuring that none of the electrical appliance but my laptop and mobile phone are working. Nothing else in the house is working. So yes, that's what that's what EI is all about. Be centered, know what is it that you are here for, and then gather your resources to see what you can do. Yeah. Thank you, Gaurav. It was nice of each one of you to be pouring in your questions. Thank you, Preeti. I really love those yes coming up. Still, if you have any questions, we have 5 minutes. And otherwise, on the green signal of Venkatesh and Ekta, we can call it a day. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
So thank you so much, Dr. Anju, for the wonderful input that you have given to us.
Thank you.
So I think many of us have agreed that the information provided in this session was very important. So before we move to the Q&A session, I would like to launch a poll to understand how the session was.
Okay.
And you can just share the feedback poll is on the screen, so you can just answer the poll. And meanwhile, if you have any kind of questions to ask Dr. Anju, so you can raise your hand so that we can move to your panel and you can ask the question to her directly.
Yes, Arun.
So just a quick question.
Yes, Arun.
Okay. So, practicing this on a daily basis, now it's good to know, all these techniques. And sometimes you get maybe to one step. I mean, just understanding your emotions. I mean, we are so not conditioned to acknowledge emotions generally. So what would you recommend for, for us to, because, sometimes meetings are fast paced. You feel like it's a rapid fire round and, you're suddenly put on the spot and you become defensive instead of, responding. So what would your takeaway be for such situation?
Right, Arun, a beautiful question asked indeed. Many a times we are on the firefighting mode. So one thing I'll say, Arun, every time, so for example, from today itself, you decide that okay, I am going to start practicing EI. It will happen that you will have this in mind that okay, I have to respond, not react. But still, in the first firefighting, you will not be able to respond. You will still end up reacting. The trick is, while you are now off the meetings, please give yourself some reflection time. We call it a meta emotion time, meta emotion. So, go back to the neutral condition in your brain again and check with yourself, what could you have done? Instead of reacting to it, what is it that you could have done? So when your boss shouted at you, or when your boss told you that these facts and figures are not sufficient for the client, and you must have worked a little harder, despite the fact that you have put all your blood and sweat into it, still the facts and figures did not make any sense to your boss. And you said, all right, okay, I will do. And you have actually spoiled the situation there. You tried your best to respond, but this was your first time. You could not come back. Reflect, go back to that meta position. Can you try and tweak the meaning of or the thoughts that you are associating with this reaction of the boss? This boss also is pressurized a lot by the client. You know that the client is here in Delhi, we say jhakki client. So this is a client who is actually too much into asking questions, etc. So Madhav, who is my boss, also is not wrong at his place. And instead of giving him facts and figures in 1, 2, 3, 4 point, what I can do is, because this is the maximum information I have. So what I can do is I can maybe write now 2, 3, 4 lines only to show as if my data is a big fat data, because my boss as it is not checking the data. All he saw was, for this jhakki kind of a client, only 1 page. How am I going to answer his questions? Now I'll give him 7 pages for the 30-minute meeting. Then he'll not say anything. So what you did, the technique is, go with an intention to respond. You will not be able to respond in the first go, second go, third go. But every time you come back, reflect, go back to that meta emotion, and now tweak the meaning of the thoughts that you are associating so that your brain can focus on the solution and not focus on the problem that happened. Does it make sense, Arun?
Yes, it does. Yep.
Right. And that's the only technique, but you will have to do it diligently.
So go with the intent to respond. I think that's...
Yes. Go with the intent to respond. You will fail for the first 10 times. That's okay. But you will see that every time when you're reflecting back and going to the second meeting, there will be slight improvement. So maybe your trigger time initially was, let's say, a minute of boss's hearing. The second time it will be maybe 3 minutes. The next time it will be 5 minutes. And then the next time it will be, that's okay. Let him say, I know what I have to do. I've got his pain point. I know what I have to do now. So yes.
All right.
Right.
Yeah, I'll use that as an affirmation. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Arun. Beautiful question, Arun. Thank you so much. Anyone else? Any question?
So I like to address, like, we are running out of the time.
Yes.
So in case any one of you is having any kind of a question, you can write us. I'll just share the email ID in a chat box, and we will ensure that all your answers will be answered by Dr. Anju personally. So you can mail your queries at shiva@ethica.co.in.
And please ensure that these questions reach to me by today and give me 48 hours of window. I'll get back to you. All right. Within these 48 hours, I'll get back to you. All right then. Good.
And thank you so much, Dr. Anju.
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much. Pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much. Signing off on this note. God bless all.
Thank you everyone to attend this session.